Jamie Dimon called it pet rock.
There are big skeptics, I think, anytime a new technology, a new industry emerges. The counter to what you're describing is the most successful ETF ever in the United States.
Exchange traded fund.
Was the Bitcoin ETF.
On September 12th, Jamie Dimon says Bitcoin is a fraud. He says he'll fire any one of his traders buying Bitcoin. Bitcoin drops 24%. When Jamie Dimon speaks, people listen. So that weekend, we found out that the largest buyer of a Bitcoin fund that's in Europe that buys physical Bitcoin, right? The largest buyer was Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan.
I think we're going to see a lot more use cases right now. So right now, people still view Bitcoin as an investment asset to a large extent. So people talk about price. People talk about 100K. People look at it as an asset type or investment asset. It's really the utility that I think we will see in the next decade or decade and a half. So I think it's a future of money. So it should be used as a utility. So I think later on, we shouldn't be calling Bitcoin. It's just money. So I think people like, is it Bill Gates who said like people overestimate what they can do in 1 year, but underestimate what they can do in 10 years. So I think within 10 years or so, 5-10 years, we're now seeing nation states accumulating Bitcoin and as strategic reserves, and that will increase the price further potentially, and that almost mathematically, and then we will see more use cases out of it. Yeah.
Okay, so you avoided the question. What's going to be the price of Bitcoin in 10 to 15 years?
To the moon.
I'm putting you on the spot. You got to give me a number. What would you say to your friend?
I think really there's no limit really. So it's very hard to put a precise number. So I'm avoiding the question still, but it's really hard to put a precise number on it. I think any number will get there in time.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of a huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. We will, and if we can have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting at more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets. Now,
it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and you know, when the dealers have to step in to save a Treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And guys, please like and subscribe if you do like what you're listening to. Please inform your friends and family and spread it all over social media. It is imperative that we get back to learning finances and understand how the world really works, because once we understand how the world really works, we understand that it is all planned out. Now, I want to thank those who purchased the books Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book. Remember, the New World Order book shows you how the world really works, and it is definitely time for you to wake up out of that sleep, especially in the times that we're in right now. And 2024 is going to be one of our most entertaining years. We have the presidential election. We have the drums are beating. We have the emerging markets going to be flipping the switch on the fourth industrial revolution. And they finally start to cut rates. And we know Japan is going to start raising rates. And those trillions of dollars that are sitting in money market accounts are going to start flowing over to the emerging markets. And we know the master magicians are about to set up that distraction so they can cut rates while we still have inflation. And in the fourth quarter, once the election is over, the movie begins. And also, guys, I want to thank those who purchased the 3 Kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, much love to those who donate to the Cash App, Patreon. Much love. Keep it coming. Guys, if you're not a part of the Patreon, make sure you're donating to the channel through the actual Cash App. But guys, this next Bitcoin and crypto bull run is going to be a utility run. So you want to make sure you have the cryptos that have real utility. And much love to those who are shopping at both stores. Keep it coming. And of course, guys, we get into Bitcoin and cryptos first.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And we have Bitcoin and crypto pulling back. We also have stocks pulling back. These next 2 weeks are going to be volatile. We have Microsoft votes tomorrow whether to add Bitcoin. And then we also have Saylor's Microstrategy acquires 21,500 Bitcoin at $2.1 billion. So far this month. And we have Bhutan transfers Bitcoin, may be ready to sell, and the government is the 4th largest holder of Bitcoin. And due to this pullback, over 300 million liquidated. But guys, make sure you're paying attention to the actual indicators. We have yield rates moving up, but nowhere near the highs. And we have stocks and cryptos pulling back with no news to pull us back except for the narrative of China with Nvidia. Now we have the dollar right now down. We have volume in crypto right now up. We have Tether and USDC. And then, of course, guys, we have the Fed repo on Friday was 130 billion. Make sure you're pulling that on a daily basis during the week. Now, if you're a part of my Patrons, make sure you watch the video I did last night. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you join so therefore you can keep up with all these events. And last night's YouTube video, I went over Trump and the tariffs, and it's all a plan to get us moved over to this digital economy, where the robots, algorithms, and drones take the economy over, pay each other with crypto, and the sheep go inside the metaverse. And Elon cutting this deficit is all about America getting moved over to a level playing field. If the machines are taking over the economy, that means that the people are going to be paying less taxes. That means you have to have Social Security reform. But guys, we know that's the reason why universal basic income is so important. And that's the reason why you see Sam Altman, Elon Musk, that's all they ever talk about is universal basic income, where everybody's getting a check sitting at home because the machines are doing the work. Now we have Fed Jerome Powell in the House on the 18th to let us know whether they're going to be cutting rates or not. And we get the final important numbers this week, which is inflation. The jobs report came out, was pretty good, but we know inflation is still going to be sticky. So we're going to see the narrative that the media tries to spin. Because looking at the economy right now, the way the Fed is saying they're looking at data, there's no reason for them to cut. But the Fed funds rate is about 4.5%. They can get down to 4 and then pause at the beginning of the year. And if Trump puts on these tariffs, that's going to cause even more inflation. And that's the reason why they're moving slow, because they know that we're going to a level playing field. These central banks are moving in lockstep to destroy this legacy market so the fourth industrial revolution can rise. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. Now we have the Bitcoin and Ethereum spot ETFs, BlackRock, Fidelity, and Grayscale. Bitcoin and Ethereum spot ETFs right now are down. And we had Brad Garlinghouse yesterday on 60 Minutes let the world know that the U.S. Bitcoin spot ETF was the most successful ever. And we know 60 Minutes was going to play the Hegelian dialectic. Of course, interviewed Brad Garlinghouse and then John Reed Stark. So, of course, Brad Garlinghouse is for crypto. John is speaking against it, making the people indecisive instead of telling us the utility of crypto and all these big banks and big corporations using these digital assets already. And that's the reason why the sheep never invest or are scared to invest. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. Now we have Microsoft shareholders vote on whether to add Bitcoin tomorrow. And lastly, we have National Center for Public Policy Research proposes Bitcoin treasury to Amazon. And what's funny about that is that us in crypto, we know that AWS is basically controlling all these crypto projects. Majority of the major projects are using Amazon's cloud. Guys, you can't make this stuff up. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. Because he knows, when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. But that's all I have for you. Don't forget about the books. Crypto Teacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get on stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing they were still getting that free money, what are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID 33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.